All right, hello everyone. Stimulus TV, Twitch streamers, welcome. My name is Paul Leviton, and I am here to bring you Staying Fit During Quarantine. Before we get started, I just want to give you a little bit of background on me, because my name is Paul Leviton. I'm broadcasting here to you from my basement apartment in Brooklyn, New York. A beautiful sunny day outside. About, I don't know, week 6 of quarantine or something like that. I don't know. I've kind of lost all track of time. But I am myself a personal trainer, a strength and conditioning specialist, a nutrition coach, and a board licensed health and wellness coach. So everything having to do with health, wellness, fitness, nutrition, all of that kind of is my jam. That's what I specialize in. That is what I do on a day in, day out basis. So I just am here today to talk to you guys about this stuff because I know that staying fit and healthy and active in quarantine is something that is very challenging for everyone. It's challenging for me. So I'm just going to talk you guys through some things, give you some tips, some things that you can take action with so we can all keep living our best, healthiest, most active, happy lives. Right. So I've just here on the board put a few things, my IG, my Facebook, if you ever want to follow along with me. I'm not going to be doing an actual workout here with you guys today. I feel like there's plenty of those going around. Instagram, if you check out my Instagram, PaulFit, P-A-U with 2 L's, there's tons of workouts you can do. YouTube has them, Facebook has them. Also, if you go to my website here, it's lb3fitness.com. The letter is lb3 fitness.com. You can get 30 free workouts at home, no equipment, nothing necessary. And there's tons of that stuff available. So I want to use this time today to talk to you guys about some other aspects of health and wellness, nutrition. I will get into fitness, but like I said, I'm not going to do the workouts with you. I'm going to leave that up to you guys to kind of do on your own afterwards, right? So a big part of what I want to talk about today, we're going to talk about fitness, we're going to talk about nutrition, and we're going to talk about mindset, because I think that mindset and the mental side of health and fitness are a big thing all the time, but especially right now. COVID-19, we're in quarantine, the world is shut down, a lot of people are out of work, they're stuck at home, everything is crazy right now, and it's very easy for us to kind of get thrown out of our loop, out of any habits, any routines that we had, anything that we were doing that was possibly healthy. Gyms are closed, parks are closed, so it's very easy to kind of lose sight of our health and our fitness and all that stuff. So I want to talk about the mental side of things. Then I will get into nutrition. How should I be eating during quarantine? How can I maintain whatever I've been doing? And I will also talk about fitness workouts that you can do, my tips for staying healthy, staying active while you're stuck at home. All right. So again, when I get into this, I just also want to start with why. So a lot of times right now, it's easy to think like, well, why do I need to focus on this stuff? There's so much going on. The world is literally crumbling around me, right? It's like, maybe I lost my job. I know I lost my job. My gym is closed. People are sick. But people are dying literally around us. So it's very hard to say like that working out should be a top priority for me, or dieting or eating right or something like that. And that's completely understandable. But at the same time, we need to remember that fitness, working out, eating right is about health. And all of this, everything that we're going through comes down to health, right? COVID-19, coronavirus, 96% or something like that of the people who die, who pass away from this virus, have comorbidities. And most of the comorbidities are things like diabetes, they're things like heart disease and high blood pressure, being obese or overweight. So all of these things are things that can be dealt with preemptively via a proper nutrition, proper exercise routine, staying fit and healthy. Meaning that people who are fit, healthy, active, eating right, who are taking care of themselves have a much less likely chance of dying, of becoming extremely ill, of having to go to the hospital and being put on respirators, right? So while I understand it's hard, it's easy to just say like, well, there's bigger things to worry about right now than working out. Remember that this is a means to an end, right? It's if you all you think about is exercise for the reason of I want to look good, right? I want to exercise so I have abs. Then it's very easy to kind of be like, yeah, like that's not that important. But if we remember that exercise is about being healthy, right, eating salads and stuff like that, eating, not eating as much fried food, candy, is about being healthy. It's about treating your body correctly. And when we do that, we will be in the best place, not only now, but in the future to live the best lives possible, right? So that's just something I wanted to preface all of this with, is that as much, it just is important, right? And, you know, health is our number one priority again. Looking good is a great reason to work out. It's a great way to get motivated. But the reason that we exercise is for health, and health is always going to be the number one thing. I always like the analogy of when you're on an airplane and something happens and the masks come down, right? What's the first thing that they always say? Secure your mask before securing someone else's. Yeah. So we have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of someone else. So even if you're a parent and you have kids, if you have family members or whatever, that you need to be healthy for them. If not for yourself, we need to do it for others, right? So when we think about fitness, when we think about nutrition, it's not just for the vain reason of I want to look better. It's because if I am the best, healthiest person I can be, I can show up for my family, for my kids, for my mother, for my sister, my nephew, and be the best person for them that I can be. So I need to secure my mask before I can secure anyone else's mask, all right? So now, with all that being said, that was a really long way to introduce myself, but I just want to, all that is to say that this stuff is important, right? And now, when we talk about mindset, I want to start all of this off by taking a big, deep breath, right? So when I take a big, deep breath, I want to big inhale into my belly, into my chest, and then I want to exhale for longer than I inhaled. So I want to, right? So a good way to count this is a 2-second inhale, 4-second exhale, or a 3-second inhale, 6-second exhale. So I want to be exhaling for double the amount of time that I am inhaling, right? And the reason I want to start with this is because breathing, people always say, like, if you're anxious, if you're excited, or if anything's going on, like, people always say, take a deep breath, right? And that's one of those things that if I didn't study this kind of stuff, I always would think like, well, why? Who cares about taking a deep breath? What difference does that make? But there is real physiological reasons, meaning inside your body, taking a deep breath does matter, right? So right now, there's so much going on. We're anxious. We're stressed. We don't know what the future is. It's very easy to become super tense and anxious. And taking a deep breath or deep breaths can really help with that, because think about any time that you've been very, very excited or sad or you're crying. How do you breathe? It's short, fast breaths, right? When you're crying, it's almost like you're hyperventilating, right? The same thing if you're super excited, if you just ran or something, it's all these short, shallow breaths. And that tells your body that you're in a state of alarm, right? So it's like, I need to, like things are going crazy right now. I need to breathe fast, 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 fast and hard. When I slow my breath down and I, instead of short and shallow, I take big and slow breaths, that sends the opposite signal to my body and my brain. It says, okay, I am calm right now. I have the ability to sit, to relax, to think. So my brain relaxes the rest of my body, right? So this is a way to go from a stressed state to a relaxed state, is to just control your breath. So it's just something to remember right now when things are getting overwhelming. Maybe you get struck by a little anxiety, a little stress. You're thinking about all the craziness that's going on in the world. You're watching a little bit too much news and you just kind of get caught up. Just remember, always come back to your breath. Big, deep breath in and big, deep breath out. Try to exhale longer than you inhale. And that's a good way to get into a calmer state, right? And the next thing I want to talk about when it comes to mindset during this current crisis is that this is uncharted territory right now, right? We are in the midst of a global pandemic the likes of which have never been seen in our generation or our lifetime. So it's okay to be flustered. It's okay to be stressed. It's okay to be anxious. It's okay to not want to exercise, to not to want to just sit and eat cookies all day. Whatever you're feeling is all right because there's no roadmap for this stuff, right? So if you're someone who is looking at Instagram and seeing all these workouts that everyone's doing or how to stay fit in quarantine, but you're not motivated to do that, that's okay, right? There is no rule book for this stuff. So whatever you're doing, the best we can do is all we can do, right? And there's no other real thing that we can do besides that. Is kind of just be like, understand that we kind of just have to go with the flow, right? And now going on with that, when it comes to fitness, diet, right? I am a personal trainer as well as a nutrition coach. I have many clients who I was working with up until this time, up until the gyms closed, who were doing great. Maybe you're in the same boat. You were going to the gym, you were dieting, you were making tons of progress, yeah. And now all of that has kind of stopped. And now you're wondering, well, how can I continue to make progress? Or maybe I'm gaining weight because I'm in quarantine and I'm kind of just eating all the time or something like that. And it can be disheartening. So a big thing that I want to understand is that you need to temper your expectations. Meaning, if you were someone who was going to the gym all the time and you were in a weight loss phase, or you were getting stronger because you were lifting weights, or you were running outside, or whatever you were doing and you were making forward progress, understand that the progress that we make now might not look like the progress we were making or the progress that we want to be making, right? So if I'm trying to lose weight and I was losing weight at a reasonable pace, maybe now I have to reevaluate my goals and understand that for now, maybe maintaining my weight might be the best progress that I can make and not actually losing weight, right? Like, or maybe losing weight at a slower rate because I'm not going to the gym as much and all I can do is go for a walk every day as my daily exercise or something like that. So understand that it's okay to kind of shift your goals and what you're trying to do because we're in a weird situation. But at the same time, it is important to have goals, right? So you don't need to give up on everything. There's no need to say, oh, well, there's no way for me to stay fit and active during quarantine. We just have to realize that it's not going to look the way that it does. So if I always go to the gym and I go to the gym 3 times a week and now I can't go to the gym, that might change, but I can still be active, right? I can still do some sort of physical activity a day. I need to shift my goal. I need to shift the way I think about what success is to me. But that doesn't mean that I can't be successful in some way. So going off that, a big thing during quarantine and during COVID-19 and everything that's going on right now is control, right? As humans, we want to be in control, right? We want to be in control of our own destiny, of our everything that we do, right? If you study psychology, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs starts with like we need physical safety, we need to be able to feed ourselves, but all the way at the top is self-control and self-actualization, being in charge of our own destiny. It is our deepest human need, if you ask some people, right? So in life, when we are not able to be in control, we don't like it, right? So if you have a whole plan for the day and you're like, I'm going to take the cab to the airport and my flight's at this time, and then I'm going to fly in, and then I have my dinner with my family at this time or whatever, and then what happens? And then your tire gets a flat tire on the way to the airport, there's a storm that the flight is delayed and all this stuff, and now you're out of control. We don't like it, right? We've all been in that situation where we had everything planned out, and we lose control, and it's a very bad feeling, right? We don't like that. So this, where we are right now with COVID-19 and coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, is that times a million, right? We've just lost control of everything. Work, we're out of control. We're stuck at home. Maybe we have kids that we're now forced to teach that we've never tried teaching before. We can't do the same social things that we're used to doing. Whatever the thing is, we have lost so much control. And so it can be very easy, again, to kind of feel stressed and whatever about that. So a big thing for me that I want to focus on is what can I control, right? So for me, that I want to focus on is what can. So if I have here in this big circle, I don't know if you guys can even see this, but in this big circle, is everything. So if I have here in this big circle, I don't know if you guys can even see that affects me, right? This is everything that affects me. So this is COVID, this is work, this is weather, everything that affects me. So this is literally everything that has an effect on my life is in this big circle. But in this little circle are the things that I control, right? So here, all of this stuff affects me, everything in the world that has an effect on me, but I only control what's in here, right? So they call this locus of control. So I want to think about what I can control and not all the things that affect me, because I can't change these things anyway. I can't change COVID. I can't change the weather. I can't change that my kid's school is canceled and now that I have to teach them. What I can control are how I think about these things. I can control how I react. I can control my mindset about this type of stuff. So we want to focus on the things that we can control. A, like I said, because we can't control the other things anyway, so to focus on them is just a waste of energy. But also B, because it allows us to feel that sense of control again. Like I was just saying, as humans, we want to be in control. So by focusing on the things that we control, it gives us a sense of safety, and it allows that kind of anxiety and that stress that we're feeling to kind of temper off. Right? So speaking of control, now when we come back around to health and fitness, I like to think about what of those things can I control. This is where I'm very big with my clients and with anyone who I work with: schedule and routine, right? So like we've said, we're out of control right now. COVID-19 is throwing everything out of the way. I don't have work. Maybe I'm work from home. Maybe I have no work at all. Maybe I'm not doing all the things. All my social things have been canceled. So my schedule is all over the place. So I can use that as a way to kind of get back into control by still trying to keep to a schedule, right? Although I have the ability to maybe not set an alarm and wake up whenever I want because I don't have work, maybe it's best to actually set an alarm and try to keep to a schedule, because this gives us some sense of normalcy, and it lets us bring back that control, right? A schedule. Also, in terms of fitness, if you are someone who went to the gym all the time, or if you're someone who did group fitness classes, those things usually exist on a schedule, right? Every week I had yoga at 12:30 on Saturday, or whatever it was. So it's easy when you don't have anything to do. It's your time expands to the amount of time you give it. Meaning, if I have nothing to do all day, somehow I find a way to fill all that time, right? So when I have 24 hours and I say I'm just going to work out tomorrow, sometimes for some reason it doesn't happen. Whereas if I schedule my workouts just like I would a meeting or something like that, I say I'm going to work out tomorrow from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. and I block it off in my schedule, it becomes a much more real thing, and it allows me to kind of focus on that, and I'll be more likely to get it done. So keeping to a schedule, creating some sort of routine are two big suggestions or pieces of advice that I have for people for fitness, for just in general, for keeping your mental health, but definitely for workouts, right? Scheduling your workouts, scheduling things like, anything that's important to you, actually sitting down and writing with a schedule when you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, just being as deliberate as possible, right? Things like exercise and eating right don't happen by accident, right? They take concerted effort, right? You don't accidentally work out most of the time, unless you end up on like a hike or something that you weren't expecting. But for the most part, you don't just work out by accident. You don't just meal prep by accident. You can accidentally eat a few cookies. I've done that plenty of times before, but I won't accidentally normally eat a salad, right? I have to chop up the lettuce and chop up the tomatoes and do all these things. So because I have to put in that amount of effort, it's much easier if I plan it and schedule it and decide before that thing has to happen. That way, it's kind of like it's real, So I like to think of this like a meeting, right? If you have a meeting, if you're at work and you have a meeting scheduled, that thing happens no matter what, right? So that's how I like to treat my workouts or meal prep or anything like that. Is I want to schedule it and block out that time just like it was as important as a meeting that you were having with your boss or something, right? So if I have my workout scheduled for 4 o'clock, at 3:50, I'm on a Zoom call with some of my friends or something like that. I'm going to say, hey guys, sorry, I got to go because I have something scheduled at 4, right? In the same way that if you had a meeting and you were on a call with your friends and that 4 o'clock time slot came up, you would have to go because that's what it is, right? So that's how we kind of bring back some control and some normalcy into COVID, into this, crazy, weird time. All right. And then going off that, now I want to talk a little bit about nutrition. Yeah. Sorry, give me 1 second. All right. So nutrition, eating, diet, whatever you want to call it, during this crisis. So a lot of people, one of the biggest questions I get on my Instagram or my social media is, how should I be eating during quarantine? How do I keep fit and healthy? What should my diet be like? The number one answer and the easiest thing to understand is that nothing should be different about your diet now than before, assuming that your diet was healthy before. Meaning what's healthy now is was healthy 6 months ago, and it is what will be healthy 6 months from now. The right diet, the right way to eat, the healthy things that you should be eating are going to be generally the same, no matter what, right? Your healthy is healthy is healthy. It doesn't matter if we're in quarantine or not. It doesn't matter, what's going on. But one thing I would like to kind of just make clear is that don't be fooled by anyone saying that like certain foods are going to jack up your immune system. Like eat more of this to be safe from COVID or something like that. Like that's not real. Supplements, dietary things. If there was something real, like eating more oranges that protected us from coronavirus, the world would be a much healthier place, right? We'd all drink orange juice and we'd be outside right now. We wouldn't be watching this in your house. That's not the case. Understand that having a well-rounded, healthy diet will improve your immune system, right? Our body wants to be healthy. So if we eat right and if we're active and healthy, our immune system will be stronger. But it's not like there's one thing or one pill or one fruit or one superfood that's going to do that, right? So I just wanted to get that out in the open. So like I was saying, that there's only the way that I want to eat in quarantine is the way that I want to eat all the time, which is just healthy, right? So for me, the simplest way to do things, and this is again what I teach anyone that I work with, is that we want to keep it simple, right? Oftentimes people overcomplicate dieting, and I don't even like the word diet. I just mean how you eat, right? It doesn't mean that you have to be losing weight. It doesn't mean you have to be gaining weight. This is just how you should be eating in general, right? We all need diet is how we eat on a day in, day out basis, right? So my diet, even if I'm not trying to lose weight, is just how I'm eating, right? So there's 3 rules to a general all-around healthy diet. Rule 1, protein. I don't know if you can read this. Protein with every meal. Protein is a building block of our muscles and our bones, and we need more of it. Most people do not get enough protein. If you're not trying to get enough protein, meaning if you don't pay attention to how much protein you're eating each day, I would venture to guess you're probably not getting enough of it. Protein is what they call muscle building or muscle sparing. Meaning when we build new muscle, right? This is why bodybuilders and stuff take protein shakes. When we build new muscle, it's built out of protein. But also, when we are not building muscle, when we are burning maybe muscle or fat, the more protein we have, the more our body is able to hold on to the muscle that we have. Meaning, if we're losing weight, right? When we lose weight, doesn't necessarily always mean that we're losing fat, right? We can lose weight, which is just the number on the scale, is how much we weigh. But weight is made up of fat, it's made up of bone, it's made up of muscle, it's made up of our organs, our tissues, and everything that makes up us, yeah? But when we talk about losing weight, we normally want to be losing fat. The thing is that the more protein we eat, to an extent, but if we're getting enough protein, it allows our body to hold on to the bone and muscle that we want and spare and allow it to burn the fat that we don't want. Meaning, if I'm losing weight and I don't get enough protein, I will lose fat, but I will also lose bone and muscle because I don't have enough protein to hold on to that. This is a very simple, oversimplified way. I'm trying to break it down for you guys, but you get the gist of it. So basically, if I'm losing weight, I need enough protein so that I don't lose bone and muscle and I lose fat. If I'm gaining weight, I need protein because that I want that weight that I'm gaining to be muscle and not fat, right? We always want muscle over fat. So I want protein so that I can build new muscle. And if I'm just staying the same, I'm maintaining, I still need enough protein because again, that's what maintains my bone and muscle. So my one of my 3 rules is always try to get lean protein. And lean protein sources are things like chicken, beef, seafood, tofu, things that are lean protein, meaning they have a lot of protein and not a lot of other things, right? So a piece of chicken breast will have almost all pure protein, not a lot of fat, not a lot of carbs. Tofu, steak, all these things they have a lot of protein, not a lot of carbs, not a lot of fat. So we just want a good source of protein. So each meal that I make, I want to have some protein in it. That's something that I'm looking for. All right. All right, and the next rule is whole foods, right? And this is not the grocery store chain, but what I mean when I say whole foods, most of your diet should be made up of whole foods. And a whole food is a food that is the entire ingredient list, meaning steak, right? There's no ingredients in steak, it's just steak. Broccoli, that's the whole thing. A potato. Whole foods are the food. So the majority of the things that I eat should be whole foods, meaning steak, broccoli, potato, right? That's a dinner. That's 3 whole foods. Salad is lettuce, tomato, cucumber. Great, awesome. The opposite of that would be processed foods. Processed foods, rather than a potato, would be a potato chip, which now, if you look at the ingredients on a bag of potato chips, is not just going to say potato. It's not even just going to say potato oil. It's going to say potato, a whole bunch of other things, probably that I can't even pronounce or read. And all of these things means that it's ultra processed and a lot has gone into making this food. So as a general rule of thumb, the more whole foods I eat and the less processed foods, the more healthy I will be. Whole foods tend to be less fattening. They tend to be more satiating, meaning they keep you feeling full longer. Meaning if I eat a pound of broccoli versus a pound of potato chips, the broccoli will keep me feeling fuller longer, so I'll be less likely to go snack. Whole foods also have more nutrients in them, right? So a potato is actually very healthy. It has vitamins, it has minerals, it has things like that we need. Whereas a potato chip has been so processed that it is now devoid of nutrients, right? It has calories, but it has almost no nutritional value other than that. So I want mostly whole foods. A good rule is 80-20, right? So the 80-20 rule of dieting, if 80% of my diet is whole foods, meaning, again, steak, potatoes, chicken, tofu, lettuce, things that are the food themselves, the other 20% can be processed foods because you still need to have some balance and you don't want to go crazy, right? So if I told you eat nothing but whole foods 100% of the time, yeah, that would be great. But we want to be realistic and we live in the real world. So I'd rather shoot for 80% of the time whole foods. Another 20% of the time is when you have your fun foods, you have your snacks, you have that other stuff. But because you're still doing 80% mostly whole foods, you're able to fit in that other stuff. Okay? And then the last rule is no drinking your calories, right? This is super simple. The biggest, easiest change that most people can make towards a healthier diet is to stop drinking their calories. Meaning anything that has a caloric value that you're ingesting via drinking, it can just be cut out right away. Specifically soda, fruit juices, right? things like that. Even orange juice or apple juice will have 200 to 300 calories in a little bottle like this, right? So now, if we come back to what I was talking about before, satiety, which is how full something makes you, a little 200 calorie thing of apple juice or a can of soda or something like that, you drink it, it's 200 calories you just ingested, but you don't feel full at all. Meaning you're going to then go and eat more anyway, so you're adding more calories. Also, these things are usually very sugar filled, which just isn't good in general. So an easy rule is stick to water, seltzer, tea, things like that that have no calories. Now, an exception to this would be obviously alcohol has calories. So if you're drinking alcohol, whatever, that could be your exception. That could be the 20 to your 80 if you want it to be. But in general, if you're trying to be as healthy as possible, I wouldn't recommend drinking too much alcohol either. But again, I understand we live in the real world, and it is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be. But these are my 3 rules: protein at every meal, mostly whole foods, and no drinking your calories all the time. Right? It has nothing to do with quarantine or anything like that. This is just the best way to have a healthy, well-rounded diet, and it happens to work now as well. Specifically for quarantine, I also wanted to maybe talk about grocery shopping, right? So a lot of people have questions about like, okay, what should I be buying when I go grocery shopping? And again, this is the same way I would recommend grocery shopping in general, but there's no reason not to go over right now. So going based off these rules, if I'm going to grocery shopping, I want to stock up on protein, right? So that's lean chicken, beef. If you're a vegetarian, that's tofu, tempeh, seitan. I want things that are fresh and frozen, right? Because if I'm going grocery shopping now, especially, I kind of want to stock up if possible so that I have to make less trips outside. And a big thing when you're going grocery shopping, fresh, whole foods, so that's fruits and vegetables, but also understand that there's nothing wrong with frozen or canned fruits and vegetables. So frozen fruits and vegetables are actually just as healthy, if not technically more healthy than fresh ones, because they're often frozen at the peak of their ripeness. Same thing with canned vegetables. Canned vegetables can actually be very healthy. The only thing to watch out for is like canned fruits, when you maybe like canned peaches and that kind of thing, which are packed in like sugary syrup. But aside from those, fresh is ideal, is great, but fruits, vegetables, frozen or canned, there's nothing wrong with that. Those are great to have. Stock up on those, right? So if I just follow these rules, if I stock up on protein and whole foods, fresh, frozen, canned, that's my grocery shopping is done right there, right? It's already bing, bang, boom. I'm not buying any soda or juice because those are liquid calories, and that's it, easy. And then the last little bit I will talk about in the terms of nutrition. This isn't exactly nutrition, but for right now, during COVID-19, during coronavirus, during quarantine, whatever you want to call it, if I could give everyone one piece of advice, this is literally as a nutrition expert, health and wellness expert, everything that I do, if I could give people one piece of advice, it would be use this time to cook, to learn to cook, to practice cooking. If you come out of this with nothing else but a better skill of cooking, that will stay with you for the rest of your life. And that really is such a great skill to have, especially now because a lot of restaurants are closed. We're probably not going, or we're definitely not going out in social situations, meaning no dinners out with friends and no drinking and stuff like that. You have to be home anyway. Like, yes, obviously you can order in, and there's something to be said for stimulating the local economy, and I get that, but use this time. You're stuck at home anyway. You have nothing but time on your hands. Use this time to learn to cook. It can be so simple. I don't cook anything fancy. I'm a very bad cook, honestly, but I know enough to cook healthy meals for myself, and that's a skill that is literally invaluable. All right, so 3 rules for diet: protein, whole foods, don't drink your calories. When it comes to grocery shopping, again, fresh, frozen, canned, whole foods, and then just try to focus on cooking. Try to learn a little bit about how to cook. It's a good way to spend your time. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the actual fitness workout side of things. Again, I'm not going to do a workout with you guys I think that the internet is flooded with these right now. And again, you can check out my Instagram, Paul Fit. You can get free workouts at my website, lb3fitness.com. The letters LB and the number 3fitness.com. I have tons of free workouts there, 30 free workouts in an ebook that I'll send right over to you if you just sign up. So I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to talk more about some principles behind working out and things that can really help you in this time. So one of the main things that I think is important to remember, if you were here with me in the beginning, I kind of talked about tempering expectations, right? It's meaning that whatever goals you had for fitness before might not be the same goals that you have for fitness right now. Again, maybe you were losing weight and maybe now you just switched to maintenance. Maybe it's not about weight loss. Maybe it's just about being healthy and active and you're finding that hard to keep up with. So one big rule that I like to follow says that over what? Meaning that you do is so much more important than what you do, right? People get bogged down, and this happens in the gym too, when before all of this, but especially now, people get so bogged down in the details. Well, what should I do? What's the best workout? Should I be running? Should I be doing cardio? Should I be doing circuit training, or should I use this or that or whatever? But it's so much less important, the specific details of your workouts, than it is that you do something, right? Consistently doing anything will yield such better results than sporadically doing the best thing, right? So the main focus that I really want you to have is to really, again, comes back to what I was saying in the beginning, scheduling and setting a routine, is getting into some sort of routine or schedule of just doing something, right? I have something I work with on my clients I call MED, right? Which stands for move every day. This is a rule that I have. It's a rule that I live by. It's a rule that everyone that I work with has to agree to live by as well. So it doesn't mean exercise every day. It doesn't mean lift weights every day. It means move every day, right? Humans are animals and we were built to move, right? Everything good about exercise and health happens when we move, right? When we exercise, we lose weight, our heart gets healthier, we gain muscle, we lose fat, all of these good things. And the opposite side of the spectrum, the less we move, what happens? We get overweight, we get heart problems, we get diabetes, we get cancer, all these things, right? The human body is telling us it wants to move. So rather than getting bogged down in the specifics of which workout should I do, what's the most advantageous form of lifting, should I be using weights or bands or machines or this or that, just set as a general rule to move every day. So for me, walking is a great one, right? Everyone can walk. You can get outside, you can use, almost all of us at this point have on our phones a step counter, right? So some great tools that we can use are right? So I like to use a step counter, and to start with just using it to see how many steps I'm taking, especially in quarantine. That number might be astronomically low. Maybe I'm only getting a few hundred steps per day, right? So I start by using that step counter and seeing how many steps am I getting, how many steps am I averaging on a regular day, and then all I want to do is increase that number, right? So if I see that I'm only getting 500 steps a day, maybe I set a goal to get 1,000 steps that day. If I see that I'm getting 2,000 steps a day, maybe I set a goal to get 3,000. Again, the numbers don't matter nearly as much as that you do something, right? The details are going to be different for every person. And this is why I'm not doing a workout right now, because every person watching this is going to be different in what they need. But the general rules and principles apply to everyone. Meaning, if you want to make progress, you have to do a little bit more. So if you've been taking 5,000 steps and you want to make progress, you need to do a little bit more than 5,000. You need to do 6,000. But if someone else was doing 500 steps, they don't need to do 6,000 steps to make progress. They just need to do more than 500. They need to do 1,000, right? So using a step counter to figure out where you are and then to progress that over time is great. I also like to set alarms, right? Movement alarms. So just it's very easy, and this is true before quarantine, but it's true now, to just sit all day, right? We sit at computers, we sit on our couch, we sit in bed, we watch TV. So it's very easy to just from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night sit and only have moved to maybe get up from the couch to go eat once in a while. So set an alarm 4 or 5, 6 times throughout the day that say get up and move. And again, what that movement looks like is not nearly as important as that you're doing some sort of movement, right? Steps are great. Stretching is great, right? If you can do some sort of mobility stuff, you can do one of these free workouts that I've done. All of these workouts, again, that I have on my website are made to be done in 30 minutes or less with no equipment at all. So, that's a super easy one to do. You can do push-ups, you can do squats. If you have equipment, great, use some equipment. But the main thing is that if I do every day something, or over the next few months, I will see results, right? 100% of the time. If I do one great workout today, but then because I'm sore or because I just don't feel like it or because whatever, I don't end up doing anything for another 2 weeks, that one workout won't have done anything, right? So it's like, rather than focusing on so hard on getting it perfect, I'd rather just focus on building the routine and the habit of getting things done. Another thing, especially right now, this is a great time because we are out of our normal routine. So say you were someone who used to lift weights or does lift weights, but you can't right now because the gym is closed. Now is a great time to try something else, right? Try going for long walks. Try yoga. Try just stretching. There's so many things, so many options online, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. People are being super generous. All over my Instagram, there's tons of awesome fitness pages giving away free workouts, giving away things to try. So you already can't do what you're used to doing, right? So you might as well try something else. If you're someone who did spin class 3 times a week, but you don't have a spin class and you don't have a bike, try something. Try yoga. Try, going for a jog. Try whatever. And it's all right if that thing doesn't work the first time. There's other things to try. And there's just more time, right? So as long as we don't give up and we just kind of keep doing something, again, that's really the key to all of this, because something is always better than nothing, right? So that's why when I say move every day, again, I'm not saying exercise every day. I'm not saying lift weights every day. I'm just saying move. It just means that there shouldn't be a day that comes that I woke up, lived the whole day and went to sleep without doing any physical activity, right? Where I just sat on the couch all day and I just and even at the bare minimum of, again, just getting up and walking around the house or just doing a light stretch or something like that, your body will thank you. This is what your body wants and needs, right? So rather than getting caught up in oh, well, I can't do the workout that I'm used to, so I'm just not going to do anything. That's, shooting your hand to spite your foot or something like that. I don't know what the hell the saying is. But again, you just realize that what you can do is what you can do right now. Right? So don't get caught up, again, coming back to my point in the beginning about what we can control, rather than thinking I normally work out like this, but I can't work out like this now. It's okay, well, you can't, right? Think about those circles of control that we were talking about before. That's outside of your control. So what's inside of my control? What can I do? I can figure out stuff with body weight. I can use soup cans and water jugs and whatever other stuff. The opportunities like that are literally endless. There's no shortage of at-home quarantine workouts on the internet right now, right? But my point is just that you don't need to find the perfect workout. You just need to find something that you can do. And you need to keep trying and keep pushing, because that's A, the only way to make progress, and B, it's important, right? Coming back to where I was at the beginning, which is that the reason that we do this is health. Yes, I want to lose weight maybe, or gain muscle or whatever. I want to look nice. Hopefully we'll be let out of our houses by the summer maybe, and it would be nice to be able to go to a beach, but I doubt that's going to happen. But whatever, it would be nice to just look better. But that's not the reason we do this. We do this because we need to be healthy. We do this because it's important to our bodies. We do this because if we have to secure our own mask and be healthy for others, right? Even if you don't care about yourself, if you feel but you care about others, I would hope. So do this because it's the right thing to do. Yeah, right? I am active every day so that I know that I can take care of my nephew, so that I know I can take care of my mom, so that I know, these are the things that are important to me. Yeah. Yes. So Another thing, like I said, focus on what you can control, not what you can't. Focus on what you can do, not what you can't, right? So again, don't focus on, oh, I can't go to my spin class. Well, what about all the yoga classes? What about all the other things that are happening right now on Zoom? Another great thing to do is to try to have an accountability partner, or maybe someone to work out with. I work out with two of my friends on Zoom every day at 4. Like I said, coming back to a routine. So I have scheduled in my routine from 4 to 6 p.m. 4 times a week, a Zoom workout with my friends. So that keeps me accountable. It keeps me on a schedule. It's much more motivating because now I'm just working out in my room alone, which is like kind of blah, but now I have other people with me. Play music, right? So, the gyms usually have music blasting. So try to think about things like that. Try to blast a little music and kind of keep everything, going like that. And boop, boop, boop. Oh, so another thing too, just in terms of the actual workouts. So whether it's my workouts that you're going to get from my website or my Instagram, or it's these other workouts that any Instagram person or YouTube person or whatever is posting, understand that just because someone posts something on the internet does not mean that it works for you, right? And this is why, again, I'm not doing workouts right now, because just because people say, well, like it's quarantine, you're at home, just do push-ups and squats. Well, I know as a fitness professional for coming up on a decade now that not everyone can do push-ups and squats, right? There's plenty of people who can't do push-ups. There's plenty of people who can't do good body weight squats without their knees or their back hurting, right? So you need to understand what you can and can't do, and don't try to fit yourself into someone else's picture of what fitness is. Meaning, I could have easily came on here and did a whole workout for this hour. That doesn't mean that anyone who's watching this could have done the same workout that I can do. Right? At the same time, just because you see a workout on YouTube, that doesn't mean that you're at the same place as that person physically. So just keep that in mind, and don't try to push yourself into a workout that you're not able to do. Slow and steady, always err on the side of caution, right? So if there's something that you're not sure if you can do, take it easy. Again, the rule is that instead of what, and live to fight another day, right? So as long as you're getting your movement in, there's always tomorrow. You'll get stronger little by little, day after day, and you kind of keep building like that, right? So the whole thing of no pain, no gain or anything like that, that's not real, right? Listen to your body, do what you can do, and just try to make slow progress over time. Progress is all we're looking for. So just do a little bit more each day. All of a sudden, you'll see 2 months from now, again, this quarantine can go, where are we now? April, May. We go all of May, maybe into June, and you've just done little progress, step goals, daily alarms for 5 air squats or something like that, and you'll be a whole different person in 2 to 3 months, right? So little things like that really, really add up. Again, listen to your body. Don't try to push through bad pain. We all know the different, like there's some pain that comes along with working out, and that's okay, but you don't need to push through everything. Like I said, live to fight another day. There's always more workouts to do. There's always another day of quarantine tomorrow, and you'll be all right. And I'm kind of coming up at the end of my time here, I think. And the last thing that I want to leave you guys with, and this to me really could be the most important thing, is sleep, right? Sleep is so underrated in our society, but so important. We undervalue sleep. We burn the candle at both ends. We're always go, go, go in our society, more work, less sleep, whatever. Sleep is so important for our health, for our fitness, for our aesthetic, right? For losing weight, for literally everything, for our immune system. Sleep is so important. So if there's, again, anything that you can do right now, if you're not getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, anything else that you're trying to do is secondary to that. Like if you're trying to change your diet and change your exercise, but you're only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep per night, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Get your sleep to where it needs to be, 7 to 8 hours every day. That alone will boost your immune system. It will improve your recovery. It will improve your mood, lower your stress. The benefits are endless. So I'm going to leave it at that because I think I'm out of time. Get on your sleep. Remember the tips that I gave you about nutrition, about mindset, about fitness, And reach out to me on any of these platforms, Paul Fit with 2 L's on Instagram, or lb3fitness.com, lb3fitness on Facebook. And I love you guys. Thank you.